Well, the knee-jerk reaction from most state premiers at the mere mention of new infections in other states has driven us all up the wall in 2020, especially those of us who want to get on with normal life. And it's already become worse this year, 2021. You can operate an almost fully functional economy whilst dealing with this virus, and New South Wales has proven it time and time again. Clusters and hotspots have been smothered with a combination of lightning-fast test results, a well-resourced contract tracing team which jumps on the 3 rings of contacts and badgers them all to remain isolated, together with the identification of possible infected venues. It has been world-class. And so New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian is entirely correct in urging other state leaders, as she did yesterday, to let her know before they plan on closing borders so that the medical experts from both states can confer on what the level of danger really is.
But I just ask other state leaders to please talk to us before they close their border to New South Wales and give us a chance to demonstrate our capacity to get on top of the virus without adversely impacting our citizens.
And these yo-yo borders, they ruin family holidays, as many of you would understand. They give businesses headaches. They disrupt the wheels of commerce for no reason. Australia's ICU capabilities right now are enormous and can cope with any serious outbreaks. We have the best health system in the world. But WA Premier Mark McGowan was having none of what the New South Wales Premier was saying yesterday, and none of the suppression strategy both New South Wales and the Commonwealth have been aiming for.
Well, there's 5 states and 2 territories doing one thing and 1 state doing something different. I'd go with the majority. The states and territories that want to eliminate the virus, I think, have the right approach. The idea that you tick along with the virus and somehow that is a better model is wrong. And I just urge the New South Wales government and people in New South Wales to look outside of New South Wales of what other states and territories are doing in order to crush and kill the virus. That's a better approach.
I think he's actually got his count wrong, but I'll get to that in a second. It is okay for WA to shut its border. He can shut his border on a whim. But New South Wales is the engine room of the Australian economy. And any recent comeback in terms of retail spending, growth, jobs, has been driven by New South Wales remaining open because it's balanced both suppressing the virus whilst keeping the economy running. New South Wales simply doesn't have the luxury of pandemic shutdowns like WA or some of the other states. Today, rural New South Wales was designated an orange zone under Victoria's new colour-coded rules. And without a single infection, of course, residents in rural New South Wales should be able to enter Victoria. But Greater Sydney, with its single cluster of less than 30 infections at Barella and a handful remaining in the Northern Beaches, is still off limits and was given a red colour by Premier Dan Andrews today. While this is clearly a super sensitive approach again from Victoria, the Premier was not buying Mark McGowan's elimination theory.
We are not looking to wipe this thing out. We have to live with it. And that's exactly what we've been doing these last few weeks, where the virus got out of hotel quarantine in Sydney, then made its way to Melbourne. And we've not locked the place down. We've put in place absolutely top-level contact tracing. We've seen tens of thousands, more than 100,000 people come and get tested. This is with us until we get enough of the community through that important process where the vaccine will be rolled out. It was something that was discussed at National Cabinet on Friday. I know health ministers are working very hard together on that. We're all part of this. It's not a matter of trying to eradicate the virus. It is the fact we have to live with it, and that means sometimes trips interstate will be disrupted.
So Mark McGowan was counting in Victoria, but he didn't ask Dan Andrews. Now, Brisbane's single case of COVID-19, a cleaner, as you may have heard, has passed the virus, the strain from the UK, onto her husband. And that is enough to continue to make it, Queensland, a code red region to Victoria as well today. 2 cases. That's after 147 close contacts of the case were found to be negative. And even some of the experts are in a state of fear when clusters form in New South Wales as well. University of New South Wales epidemiologist Raina McIntyre, well, she scared the willies out of most of the country by predicting last month, it was December 20, that the Northern Beaches outbreak could reach 3,000 cases in less than 3 weeks. It only managed to clock up 150. Effectively, active cases are less than a third of that right now. At least tonight, Queensland has ended its 3-day lockdown and ended one of the most bizarre rules in this pandemic. They've dispensed with that as well. No longer will it be compulsory in Greater Brisbane to wear a mask whilst driving. If a prize was ever handed out from the World Health Organisation for the most bizarre medical order in the last 12 months, that was it.